Chilling, isn't it? The moment you realize the person sitting across from you isn't quite like the rest of us. Today, we're venturing into the cold, calculating mind of the psychopath. Not the Hollywood version, mind you. Oh no, this isn't about dramatic outbursts or unbridled rage. No, the real psychopath is far more subtle, far more insidious. They walk among us with a smile, charm, and just enough humanity to keep you guessing. But make no mistake, behind those eyes is a mind that's altogether different from yours or mine. You see, psychopaths don't experience the world the way we do. Empathy, it's a foreign concept to them. Emotion, it's a tool, something to be mimicked when necessary but never truly felt. And yet, for the longest time, you wouldn't know it. They can be the life of the party, the charming friend who always seems to have things under control, until one day, something cracks, and you realize, let me tell you a story. There was a man, let's call him Michael. Michael was magnetic. People liked him immediately. He was witty, charismatic, the kind of person who made you feel special just by being in his presence. He had friends, lovers, colleagues, all of them drawn to his effortless charm. And yet, there was always something just beneath the surface, a coldness, a lack of connection, if you will. But it was easy to ignore. After all, he was so likable. But then, slowly, the little things started to show. The way he could turn off his charm as quickly as he turned it on. One minute he was the perfect friend, warm, funny, and the next, utterly indifferent, and I mean utterly, as if you had ceased to exist in his world entirely. Perhaps you've seen it too, those moments when the mask slips, the flash of cold calculation in their eyes when they realize you've caught on. Maybe you brushed it off. Oh, that's just them, you tell yourself. But is it? Michael had a gift. He could make you feel like the most important person in the world, but if you looked closely, there was something missing, something crucial. There was no real connection behind his words, no genuine feeling, just a perfect imitation, like a mirror reflecting back what he thought you wanted to see. And the more you tried to get close to him, the more you began to notice this strange emptiness. But what truly made me realize what Michael was, what made the pieces finally click, wasn't the charm or the coldness. It was the casual cruelty. Ah, yes. You see, psychopaths don't feel guilt. They don't feel remorse. And because of that, they can hurt others in ways you and I could never imagine. They might not even do it with malice. They do it because they can. Because to them, people aren't people. They're objects, pieces on a board to be moved, manipulated, discarded as necessary. I remember the moment it became clear. We were having a conversation. Nothing extraordinary, just a casual exchange. And suddenly, Michael began talking about someone we both knew, someone who had trusted him. And the way he spoke, so dispassionate, so indifferent, as if this person's feelings, their pain, meant absolutely nothing to him. He'd hurt them, badly I might add, and yet, in his mind, it was as though they didn't exist. There was no recognition of the damage he'd caused, no regret, only a faint, unsettling smile, as if it were all part of some game that only he understood. That's when it hit me. Psychopaths don't see the world like we do. To them, emotions are irrelevant. Other people's suffering, a curiosity at best, but more often than not, an inconvenience. They can lie, manipulate, destroy, and walk away without a second thought. And the scariest part? You won't know until it's too late. They can be so good at hiding what they are that you don't see the cracks until you're already caught in their web. So what makes you realize your friend might be a psychopath? It's not the big, dramatic moments. It's the little things, the way they use people without a second thought. The way they can turn off their charm like a light switch, leaving you feeling cold and abandoned. The way they seem to get a strange satisfaction from others' pain, however subtle. And most of all, the way they never seem to feel guilty, ever. Because here's the truth. Psychopaths don't have the same emotional wiring the rest of us do. They don't experience empathy, remorse, or guilt in the way that most humans do. And that, my dear friends, is what makes them so dangerous. It's not that they're violent. Most aren't. It's that they're so good at pretending to be normal. So good at making you believe they care, when all the while, you're just another piece in their game. So, if you ever catch that coldness, that calculated detachment, that unsettling lack of emotion in someone you thought you knew, pay attention. Because you might just be dealing with a psychopath. And the sooner you realize it, the better. You see, the true danger of psychopaths isn't in what they do. It's in what they don't do. They don't feel, they don't care. And when you realize that, when you truly understand what that means, it changes everything. Ah, the mind of a psychopath. So chilling, so calculated, and yet so ordinary, isn't it? They walk among us, wearing the mask of humanity. But behind that mask, well, I think you know by now. Be careful, my friends. You never know who might be sitting across from you.